Welcome to Bachelor,
a podcast so educational it could be a university class.
With your hosts,
Danielle Dick McHugh,
Kim Hannah,
and Bill Henninger. Welcome, everybody. It is season 11 of Bachelor, and we have two different Bachelor things. We have asked them to make our time more efficient, and how they did it was to give us 3 hours a week of two different shows. I'm not sure they really heard what we asked them. I feel like this is one of those where it's like you try to fix something and it's like you didn't hear my request at all. How are y'all doing?
Good.
I'm doing pretty great. I like fall, but we're getting like a weird last weekend of summer before fall hits.
I think yesterday was the hottest day on record.
For September 30th?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
That doesn't surprise me. So I'm going to my uncle's football game next Saturday, and next Saturday is going to be like, because he's a D3 football coach, and the Saturday's forecast looks like perfect fall football weather, but today is not perfect fall football weather. It's very steamy.
It is family weekend at UNI, and after we're done recording, I am to go. My niece now goes to UNI, and my sister is bringing her 2 little kids, and I am to walk them around campus and show them stuff. And so I'm a little bit I'm better get like air conditioning. We're gonna jump buildings. Yeah.
Did your parent? I was in Cedar Falls yesterday morning because I got a haircut, and I still go up there to get my haircut. And so I went up to the farmer's market to get my fix from Moo's Bakery, which is a delicious vegan gluten-free stall at the Cedar Falls Farmer's Market. There's a little plug. They're really good. Maybe she can sponsor us next year. But all these like insane drivers were really annoying me as I was coming into town, and I was like, what is going on? And then it clicked in my brain. So I Googled the football schedule, and I went, it's family weekend, lots of out-of-town drivers that are really driving me nuts now.
There was lots of families on campus, so it's always fun to see.
Good.
Yeah.
But very good.
They're also, it's like, you interlopers, you're eating my food, parking in my spots, like.
I don't think my family ever came up for family weekend. So I'm very impressed by families that support family weekend, but I don't think I invited them. I don't know that I told them that family weekend was happening because I didn't need them to come up. So that might be part of it too.
That was always my move. Like, don't tell them. They'd be like, oh yeah. Family weekend. And then they'd be like, you didn't tell us. It's like, well,
I know I didn't.
Yeah. All right. Here's the question for the day. What is your Halloween costume this year? And if you're not going to dress up for Halloween, what is your kid's Halloween costume for anyone here who has kids?
I can go first because I have one. So my friend, we have a murder mystery party every October, and it's always themed, and we come in costumes, and it's always a great excuse for me to buy another wig. And so this year the theme is The Great Gatsby. So my costume should be arriving from the Amazon tomorrow or Tuesday. And so I am my character, because we all get assigned a character and then you build your costume around the character. My character is a Charleston dance champion who may also be a murderer.
Oh, wow.
That's awesome.
And you may see the wig later on in our podcast, because you know how much I love a visual gag on an audio medium.
That's amazing. So Ada and I are going as spiders, but what she wanted was an all black dress with a choker that has a spider on it, and then a headband that has a spider on it. So we're gonna match. And I think Harper and Ryan are going as Mario characters, but different ones than maybe last year.
Yeah, I remember Ryan was a Mario character, right?
Yeah, he was a giant Bowser.
Okay.
and it's possible that he'll redo Bowser. I think Harper wants to be Yoshi.
Could you have a backup costume where you're Princess Peach?
Yes, I have one from last year.
I feel like
I was Daisy.
Oh, I don't know who Daisy is.
It's really exploded since we were kids. Like, they've added a whole bunch more. Like, I feel like Daisy, like, it's like, come on, you just added another character. Like she's not, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, last year I was Daisy because Ada was Princess Peach, Harper was Mario, and Ryan was Bowser. And so
Perfect.
this year, Harper, though, I think wants to be Yoshi.
Okay. Nice. Yoshi's a good costume.
How about you, Bill?
Well, I'm donating a kidney in a couple weeks, and so depending on how bad the scar is, I might go as Frankenstein. But that, or I might just do like spare parts. Like I might
yeah.
like and just call myself spare parts or something.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
You should ask them if they can put anything from inside your body in a jar for you to have as like a record for afterwards.
Like maybe they get in there and they see that like your kidney, or not your kidney, your appendix is just like hanging out, and they can pull it, and then you can have it in a jar in your living room.
Already gone. But isn't there another one that they take out? Your
gallbladder comes out a lot.
Yeah, maybe I should just be like, just take it out while you're in there.
I think people really have problems though when their gallbladder comes out. Like,
well, maybe not.
Like you can't eat a lot of food after your gallbladder comes out because your body can't process like fat stuff.
Yeah, like half of the people on my floor, the third floor of Lang, have had their gallbladders removed. Like, and it all happened within like a 5-year period. And I was like, what is in the water here? Are we all being poisoned? Because like it was wild.
Wow. Yeah. Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to attack Big Pharma and say, yes, you are all being poisoned.
Honestly, I don't know if I have any more parts I can give away after this. Like,
not until you're donating like organs after the fact.
Yeah.
Ouch, and I gotcha.
Liver, I think you can give a lobe of your liver away, but then that would reduce my drinking, and I think we can all agree I am not willing to do that.
Don't sacrifice. Don't sacrifice.
All right.
Unless I need your liver, and then please sacrifice.
Well, yeah, if you all needed my liver. Yeah.
Thanks.
Well, I think it's super awesome that you're doing what you're doing, though.
I do too.
If any of you need a kidney, though, like you better call now because the 11th it's gone. So yeah, get in there. All right, let's go in order. Danielle has an interest, or not Danielle, Kim. Kim is watching Bachelor in Paradise first, so that the whole of Golden Bachelor kind of like cleanses her palate.
Yes.
But we're gonna go in order that they showed them on the television. So
that's fine. That's fine.
First, Golden Bachelor. Do we still love him? What do we think about him?
I think we need to protect that man. I find him genuinely adorable. And his like, usually I loathe the aw shucks persona. It makes me crazy. But he is like the sweetest kind of aw shucks I could imagine. Like he's just everything. Like the only thing I don't like about him is they need to, I want him to shave his face. I am not a fan of the 3 o'clock shadow that he had going on. I like a 5 o'clock shadow, but I don't like whatever he had going on. Either shave it or grow it out, but I don't like where it is right now.
Danielle?
But I love Gary.
I really like him. I feel similar to Kim that, you just feel like the poor man's gonna get destroyed by the show. And I will say the one thing that is hard for me, as I was thinking about the episode and like what my predictions would be, is even though I think we've learned some of his story, it's really unclear to me what exactly he might be attracted to in a person.
Yeah.
I was thinking that too, because when you like, if you think about the person that you dated in high school, would you still be attracted to that person 40 years later, 20 years later, 5 years later? Like, I feel a lot of people that married their high school sweethearts and stayed married kind of still live their lives like they were when they were they tend to maybe fight like teenagers and make up like teenagers because that's their frame of reference. So him now dating women who have been divorced, have also lost husbands, who may be married later or haven't ever been married. This might be their first shot at marriage. Like, I think that's going to be a really interesting dynamic for us to see, because the way I read, this could be a lie, but I read a study somewhere that when you start dating after a breakup, or a divorce, your way of dating is how you dated when you first dated the person that you have lost, like you either divorced or they died. So he might still be thinking how to date like an 16, 17-year-old, because that's his only frame of reference for dating. Unless he did a lot of online dating in the last 7 years, which.
Well, yeah, but I think you mature, right? So if you're with someone a long time and it's a healthy relationship, you both grow and kind of understand what works. But if he's only dated and married one person, he's definitely like, that's his frame of reference, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's why whenever students come to college and they're in my class and they're like, I'm going to marry my high school sweetheart, I'm like, dump them.
Don't do it.
Like, you should date like at least 6 more people. Like,
Mm-hmm.
date someone who's just a horrible person, so you know what that's like. Date someone who's kind of a pushover, so you know you don't like that. Like, you should really go
Or you
out.
do.
Yeah. Yep. Try on lots of different things so you know what you want in a partner. And
Yep.
yeah. So one of the questions I had is, I just think that like it was very evident that what him and the women are looking for is very different than the normal Bachelor kind of setup. So thoughts on that?
I do think that there are some women there that want to be influencers, but I do think that there are some women there that really want to find a relationship and somebody to grow older with.
I feel like there's just a different energy to the entire show. And it's actually really refreshing. I think for me, what I was super struck by is how much more confident the women felt.
100%.
And it was really quite nice. But yeah, I mean, I think I kind of agree with you, Kim, that I do think that people are still on the show for different reasons. But I think in general, there's also like less care in certain ways about like being on a show. I don't know.
I appreciated that they all had real jobs. That none of their jobs seemed like made up weird jobs. But I also loved that Jimmy Kimmel's aunt was there as kind of a palate cleanser on the show as well, to be like I think a lot of people, like, you look at these women and they're all just beautiful, and we don't know, like, skincare is incredible. Like, clearly they are not 25 years old, but they are like put together beautiful women, which I love. I love that you are seeing women in their 60s and 70s, absolutely gorgeous, rocking their bodies. We had different body types. Loved seeing that, because on the youngins Bachelor, everybody looks the same because they're all like 22 and tiny. So I love that there were lots of different body types. I would love to know how many of the women are dyeing their hair versus not, because I didn't see very much gray hair, but I saw a lot of blonde. So I know that sometimes that's your gateway dye color after you go gray. But I just loved how, like you said, they're confident. They all looked amazing. I'm excited to see how they dress in real life after they get out of the ball gowns. But I also loved that Chippy or Chappie or whatever Aunt Jimmy Kimmel name was, she's the one that looks like most people's grandmas, right? So like you have all these like fun, funky women. And although I have to say, like, my mom is the age of Gary, and she also looks pretty young and hip for her age. And I think that's just like the baby boomers, they take better care of themselves, or they haven't had to go through the depression, so they had all the nutrition they needed in the 50s and 60s, so they just have aged differently than their parents' generation. But I loved that the auntie coming in and just being like sleeping on the couch, and obviously she wasn't really a contestant, but I love that she like slept through the rose ceremony, because that's what you do. You who else, like, making them all stay up all night is insane. Like, they all were like, I want to take a nap. I
did
that.
Appreciate that one lady was like, I am tired, it has taken a very long time. And it's like, that is the difference, one of the big differences, right? When you were young, you're like, 11:45, it's way early to go to the bar. And now it's like, I'm like, we're gonna go get a drink, but like 9:45, guys, I'm back home.
I'm done. I mean, you kick us out at 9:01 when we watch TV at your house because it's bedtime.
Yeah, exactly. I start cleaning up. I start doing like, all right, guys, let's go. Let's go.
You make it you do the Midwestern, it's time for you to leave my house. It's very obvious and I appreciate it. I appreciate it.
That seems like an I would let anyone stay at my house. I'm a nervous. I just like, I don't like food sitting out.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to make people sick and so I feel obligated to clean. Yeah.
Yeah. Was he drinking orange juice? Like, I also appreciate that obviously no one got shit banged.
Yeah.
But I feel like he was drinking orange juice, which I also appreciate. If you have to be up all night, you need that extra vitamin C to keep going.
I can't even imagine how much filming this show would mess with my sleep schedule. Like, I just be jet lagged the whole time.
So Elaine and I were talking, there were a couple gimmicks with the ladies, more or less cringy when the older women do the gimmicks.
I didn't love the woman who did the birthday suit thing. But I did find it funny when the woman came out in the old lady costume and then just threw the walker and like chucked the wig, and I was like, and then she was like wearing this super hot little like lace number underneath. I was like, don't give him a heart attack. Like are we monitoring the man's health during the show? Because his wife, beautiful. I love their story, but she looks very much like a Midwestern mom. And so very different from the women that were on the show. So I think that'll be an interesting dynamic too, especially when his daughters meet the women, like how that's going to go over.
Yeah, I felt like, I think the gimmicks are always cringy. So like, I don't know that I noticed that they were like more or less, but I do think I appreciated the ways in which they still were doing the gimmicks, and that the gimmicks were like still really like sexual. And I do think that there's a way that was pushing up against these stereotypes that we have about older people and sex. And I thought that they were just like really embracing their sexuality in a way that probably different viewers responded to in different ways. But like, I didn't necessarily like find it any more or less cringy, but rather like it felt like it was breaking stereotypes to me.
There was a lot of kissing last night. I was kind of surprised by how much kissing he did on the first night, because he kissed several women.
I dig it. Get it while you can, Big Gare. That's what I say.
Do you think they'll do fantasy suites for this season?
Well, I think they should. I mean,
I do too. I'm just wondering if they will. I don't know if that's something he would be comfortable with.
Yeah. Well, they don't have to worry about pregnancy probably at this point, right?
No, I think all those ladies are
everybody there's out of that. Yeah. So like,
well, I also think that when you're that age, like, I don't know, like, really, how much time are you messing with foreplay? But like, like you've done it, like you've been there, like, I don't know.
Maybe
like,
there's more foreplay. Statistics would suggest women feel like their partner in heterosexual relationships, their partner doesn't give enough attention to foreplay. Also, women over I think it's like 40 are much more satisfied with their sex lives, and one of the big reasons is because they're much more likely to advocate for the things they need. I think Nick Carey's going to get him an education, because he's been with this girl.
That's very true.
Since he was like in high school.
Yeah.
So who knows? Like maybe they talked and they had this great thing. They discussed what they liked and they didn't, or maybe it was like they just kind of had the sex they had that they thought they liked, and now he's going to end up with women who probably
do different things.
Yeah, much more advocate for what they need. And what they
I think he's a little afraid of April, the chicken egg lady, and I'm here. I think she's going to be one of the shenanigators, and I'm here for it because I don't necessarily enjoy her, but I think she's going to be really good for the show.
Yeah.
And I think he's a little bit afraid of her. And I kind of love that.
A little overwhelmed by a lot of people. Like I kind of had that deer in headlights. So who's our favorites?
I really like Marina, the Indian woman. I think she's beautiful.
Mhm.
And then I really liked who's the first? What was Edith, the first woman that came out in that gorgeous gold dress. I really liked her, and then I liked the woman who came in on the motors. Faith. Okay,
That's
I don't know the names yet. They need to wear name tags. The woman who came in on the motorcycle, who played the guitar for him, who got the first impression rose.
Danielle.
I was really struggling to figure out who I thought was a good match for him. And I think some of it was connected to what you said earlier, Kim, that these women feel a lot different than his wife.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of didn't know what to do with that. I do think there is like a more diversity in terms of like body types and like life experiences and stuff like that across the women, but I didn't think that he just seems like kind of a really normal person. And then like there's the woman that's like, Prince wrote a song about me.
That was so cool.
Yeah, I wanted to fact check that. Like I really wanted to be like, I don't know how you would, but
See, I don't want to fact check that. I
want it to be real. I don't want to know if it's not real. Do you like when I was watching it though, I was thinking, who's gonna like all of these women are super established in their lives. Many of them have children and grandchildren. Who's moving? Like if he finds someone, where will they be? Like, I mean, if he ends up with any of the like Florida or Arizona people, that's an easy fix. You do half the year in one place, half the year in the other. But like the woman in New Jersey or the woman in Minneapolis are they? I don't see Minneapolis. The woman who Prince wrote a song about, probably. I mean, I don't see her leaving Minneapolis to live on a house on a lake in Indiana. So how is this gonna work?
Well, that's one thing that I was sort of struck by is that, like, on one hand, doing this show felt like, it did feel like, oh, I'm in my 70s, screw it. Let's just do this. I'm gonna like soak up life's experiences.
Yeah.
Let's go for it. But then on the other hand, and kind of what you're alluding to here, Kim, is that they're like also set in their ways. Like they've had so much life and probably have routines, like their sleep routines and like things like that, that at the same time, I can imagine how incredibly scary this would be.
Well, I mean, as the golden bachelorette of our group, I've been waiting the whole episode to say that, by the way. I'm already set in my ways, and I'm only 42. So, like, I can only imagine how hard it would be in 30 years to be like, oh, God, really? You do that with that's how you sleep? Or that's what sound you make when you wake up in the morning? Ugh. So, I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see if they talk about that during the show.
I think that's a good conversation starter for people in America, that like you don't need to like to have a relationship with someone. You don't have to move in together, right?
That's true.
Like,
yep. I know a lot of people who are like, I don't
like,
ever want to be married again. I'll date you. And we don't need to even live in the same town.
Yeah, I'm just kind of assuming that they want to like move in and start a life. But like maybe that's what they're looking for. And that's what love looks like at that point in their life. And I will say, I think of any famous person, like this is a very Prince thing, right? Like there's all these legends of Prince that go around, and it's like I never know if they're true or not. And it's like that's what makes him so awesome. Because it's like there's this rumor that he was this like amazing basketball player, and it's like people have sort of confirmed it, but it's also like, let's just like all like that Prince was good at that too. And it's like, Prince slept with 10,000 people, probably. I don't know. Let's believe it about.
Why wouldn't he? Why wouldn't he?
All right, are we on to Bachelor in Paradise?
Let's do it.
Predictions. All right. So, who are we excited to see? And we all know that the reason we love Bachelor in Paradise is that it is unmitigated trash, and like they don't even try to convince you that like this is a process where you can find love. It's like, let's get drunk, let's make out, couple people fall in love, people cry.
Yeah, I'm all in on Mercedes. I love our Iowa girl. I loved her. I was when they were showing her premiere, like her video when she was like on the super old Case IH restored tractor that no one actually uses in farming anymore, by the way. I was like, is her dad filming? Like, who's filming this? Because I follow her on Instagram and she is super close with her family. It's her dad and her stepmom, and she's like a couple like little brothers. And I hope her stepmom is filming this and not her dad, because my God, she had very little clothes on, but she was great at driving that tractor. So kudos to Mercedes. And then I'm also, I didn't remember Will until they showed the coat getting tossed in the pool, and then I remembered Will, and I am excited to see Will because I think he's going to bring pure chaos to the island, and I'm here for that.
I thought him falling, he went to push her chair, and his reaction was just amazing. Like
Yep.
So when I was like preparing for this and I read this question, like, who were we excited to see? I realized, oh my gosh, like there's no one that I'm like, oh, I really like this person. And so like, I can't wait to see them on the show. I was like, yeah, I'm like, I was supporting Mercedes, go Iowa girl, but like, I was also, I was like, I sort of want to see Braden, but also I think that he might annoy me quickly. So
and he did.
It was just like this funny thing because I was like, I don't really know that I'm like excited for any of these people. I'm excited for the show. I love me some Bachelor in Paradise, but like I don't know if I like, oh, I can't wait to see this person.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited to see Braden and Aaron and how that all unfolds.
Yeah.
I always liked Greer. I thought it was weird. She didn't like, nobody seemed interested in her, which she almost looks like a doll. Like she almost looks like two like great big eyes and like cheekbones and yeah.
She looks like my son's teacher. Like so we had this.
You find all the dads? Do you find like all the dads in class like
they're all all volunteer parents in the classroom?
I'm pretty sure she's married and has 2 kids, but it was the funniest thing because I had the show on and Ada came down and Ada was like, that looks like Mrs. Like, and I was like, oh my gosh, kind of.
I love it. I love it.
All right. So next question. Oh, I lost my stuff. I'm getting texts from my family.
Because of how awesome you are?
Well, they're here and
yeah.
We want to eat first. And it's like, okay, guys, let's just all right. Who do we still want to see? Who isn't on there that we want to see?
I want John there. My sweet baby angel from last season. I want John there.
I would support that. Or I would like to see, like, can we redeem Xavier? Like, I would like a redemption story.
I bet Xavier's gonna end.
I bet he shows up.
I'm not happy that Hannah Brown is making a return because she was on the promos, and I have a feeling her and What's His Nuts are gonna get married. He's like, there'll be a marriage on the beach. I bet it's
Which one is What's His Nuts?
He's never been on the show. It's her like husband or her fiance now.
Oh.
And it's like I get this like icky feeling that he's riding her coattails and he's like trying to cash in on her kind of fame.
Oh my gosh, isn't she coming out with another book? Is this going to be like her book promotion?
Oh, of course it is.
But they got engaged like 2 months ago, and so this lines up perfect, And then it's like they showed her walk out, and everyone's like game over, everyone loves her, and it's like I just feel like he was selling virtual real estate at one point, which has got to be one of the dumbest.
I don't know what that is. What's virtual real estate?
In like the metaverse that Facebook put together, you can sell, like you can buy your own mansion, but it's like a virtual. It was kind of all part of the NFT stuff.
That's a job?
Yeah, I think so, to make money. Like she was then like putting it up on her account. Like, look at what my boyfriend's doing. And it's like,
it's like Ready Player One, that game or that book.
Except not cool like that book is. Yeah.
That book is amazing.
Yeah. But it was like the NFT stuff, but then everyone was like, oh, you know what? NFTs are dumb.
Yeah, they're really dumb. That's not
Well,
a.
I saw one person that had an NFT as their like Twitter X, formerly Twitter thing, and then somebody just screenshot it and made theirs. And the guy was all mad and like, you can't do that. That's mine. And he's like,
That's how it works, baby.
And then the guy was like, well, I have the original one. Like,
Congratulations. Can we talk about Canada Blake?
yeah. Yeah. Rachel, Nicole, and Canada Blake. It's like they're back.
Why is he like a cockroach? And I mean, he's had quite the glow up. His job looks really cool. I want to like touch sharks, but I don't want him there. Get away. Like, stop. It's like, he's like Fetch. Like, stop trying to make Fetch happen. You're not going to happen.
Do you think that like when somebody who has been the Bachelor, the Bachelorette ends up on Bachelor in Paradise, do you feel like that changes the show dynamics?
Yeah.
I don't think they should be allowed to come on Bachelor in Paradise. Like, Bachelor in Paradise is for all the people that who were fun on Bachelor and Bachelorette but didn't make it far enough. I don't think you should be inviting people who were like in the final two or were the fiance and then like Katie, they didn't make it because nobody saw that coming a mile away. So like, don't come back if you've had like a lot of screen time already. This is for us to see the non-screen time people make out and drink a lot.
Yeah, because I was just wondering how like the presence of Rachel, the presence of Rachel would affect the show, because I feel like when Becca was on, right? And didn't she come on later? I was trying to think about a time where the original cast had a Bachelor or Bachelorette in it. And I feel usually they're sprinkled in as like who's coming, and then that's the big old deal.
In that way, it's helpful because I feel like they have a much bigger pull. Like, people are drawn to them like they're the prize, which I think is kind of interesting.
But Rachel has never been like, she was the boring of the two on her season, so much so that we didn't know her name. And then she's like boring already on the show. Like,
she was Clayton's backup.
Yeah.
And he was like, I'm going to come back to you. Okay. Let me make sure that Gabby does not want to date me. All right. I'll be back. Just hold on.
Yeah.
Try in the stairway. Yeah.
I did feel like Blake got a glow up. I also felt that his personality seemed like much more serious and reserved, at least in the way that they were kind of the story that they were telling about him. And so I thought that that was interesting. The other person that I really felt like got a glow up was, I thought I wrote down a note on this, but she's the one that kind of looked really meek.
Jess, Glitter Girl.
Jess, Glitter Girl.
Oh, yeah.
I thought, like, I almost didn't recognize her because she seemed like when she was on before, there was like something kind of small about her and kind of like timid. And I was like, ooh, I feel like this girl's gonna get broken. And she came back on and I was like, who is this? She seemed more confident. She looked gorgeous in both shows, but like I did feel like she also got a glow up.
Yep.
What did we think about Olivia? She was the one who asked the dude to suck on her toes, and then she seemed very angry that he went on another date.
That's a bold move on what's technically a first date. Like, I mean, I think transparency is great and I think communication is great, but if you like lead off with, hi, this is my fetish and you can take it all the way to Pound Town if you want to, on the first date-ish, that's hard. And then I think that also, like, does she not get the point of the show? Like,
yeah,
they're gonna be lady and boy hopping. That's the point of the show.
I think she's got a big personality, and I'm interested. I'm interested in how that shakes out.
I feel like she's gonna burn through some. Yeah, I think she is. She is a
She's a chaos agent.
in like partner, right? You got to want to be with somebody who's big and who's like got big feelings and says like, because some of the stuff she probably doesn't mean it. And you probably need a partner that can, you know, let it roll off their back and not like hang on everything.
What season was she on? I don't remember her at all.
I had her pulled up. Zach.
Oh, that's why I kind of like half paid attention.
I didn't remember her either. So I was, yeah, she wasn't one of those that, you know, you see some people, you're like, I remember them. Oh yeah, them. But like, yeah.
So she and Kylie already have a history then because they were on the same season.
I think so. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which might be what fuels some of the jealousy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting because I think that, oh, I've got a visitor. I do think that sorry you all, for those of you listening, my daughter just came in requesting a blanket. So yes, I do think that sometimes if they've been on shows together, just like right away we established this sort of like villain relationship between Kat and Brooklyn.
Mm-hmm.
And that was that from Bachelor in Paradise last season?
I think so.
No, I don't think Kat was on Bachelor in Paradise last season.
Okay.
Because she seemed very like struggling with the whole concept of being on a beach.
Oh yeah, that's right. She doesn't
like sand. She doesn't like salt water. She doesn't like bugs. And I'm like, ma'am, you are in my show. What's wrong with you?
Because they were in a women's tell-all, and they didn't get along. They got in a fight in Estonia. Kat thought,
who hasn't?
Yeah, who hasn't got in a fight in Estonia? Yeah. All right, what do we make of Braden? He's still the lovable tool we all remember.
So I would just like to point out how watching these shows back to back, you know, what you realize is how people do confidence at 24, and how people do confidence at 65 is very different. Yes. And I don't know. I kind of love, I read this somewhere and it really made me laugh. They described like Kat and Braden as being like the opposite of opposites attract. That they are just like perfectly matched in certain ways, that they both have that arrogance.
Like, yeah. I'm just original. I'm myself, and I'm gonna like, you know, here's how I stick out. Yeah. I don't know. He is like the opposite, but the same of a guy who wears like, you know, a giant chain, giant gold necklace, like giant gold earrings, like $20,000 watch. You know, his suit is like, you know, really bold and big, like Tom Haverford on Parks and Rec.
Yep.
He's on Asari's character where it's like he needs people to know he's successful, and it's like, I feel like Braden's the opposite in that he seems to not care about that, but he's got to let people know that Braden's a free spirit, and here's how he's going to do it. He's going to have 2 earrings, and he's going to wear like a funky hat, and yeah.
I am unique.
Yeah, and I just feel like, yeah, it's interesting because he's really good looking, and I think he like says things that are, you know, like thoughtful, but not because he's thoughtful, because he wants you to think he's thoughtful. And so I just, yeah, I don't know.
He looked especially piratey when I watched it. He just like the little chin beard, which I hate, and then like the mustache thing. And then I did love that the girls did a poll on who liked the earrings and who didn't like the earrings, and not everybody liked the earrings.
Maybe he's just costuming for the beach. He's like, I'm gonna pull out the pirate for the beach.
I mean, I love a theme. You know, I love a theme, so go for it, man.
I thought it was funny when he tried to give that girl his hat, and she's like, no, that thing probably smells horrible. You could see it. It just kind of crushed him a little bit. He was like,
So here's a question. Do you think that he would let himself show that he's jealous? because I think that he's so worried about appearing as if he doesn't care, like very like high school, like I'm too cool to care kind of vibe, that I think it will be interesting where a lot of times, like Olivia already, people kind of get attached to someone, and then there's a lot of the drama on the beach is around, oh my gosh, that kitten is
So cute. I don't even like cats, and that's cute.
Gladys the kitten, she's attacking my feet right now.
She's
Yeah,
wildly adorable. She's wildly adorable. Well, I was just gonna say, I don't think that Brayden, even if he was feeling jealous, I think he would try to act too cool to ever be jealous.
Yeah, I agree. Predictions?
It's going to be an amazing season of Bachelor in Paradise, and it's going to be a giant shit show, and I'm here for it.
I've always had a crush on Katie, so I am like both excited, but like I just don't know like how this goes down for her. She seemed like she was already in drama.
Yeah.
And I'd kind of forgotten she was a shit stirrer on the season where she booped the lady with the dildo, which I still think is one of the funniest things. She's like, "Don't boop me with that dildo."
I think that's why you have a crush on her.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Could we, before we finish, could we please talk about the preview, the very tear-filled preview for the Golden Bachelor too? That preview was intense.
Yeah,
they were like playing, what was the song in the
Don't
background?
Stop Believing.
Don't Stop Believing.
Yeah, and I was
song in the background, and I was like, is this real life right now?
I feel like that is a really good demonstration of the psychological principle that the situation is way more power. Like you've got all these people that got life experience. They understand that this is just kind of a silly little show, and they're still crying. And it's like, I just think the situation, man, it gets a hold of you, and you're just like, yeah.
I do want to give props to like the producers, because the musical transition between the shows was spot on. I thought they did a great job of kind of like, well, it sounded like a lot of like 80s, early 90s, like music kind of transitioning you from one show to the next. And I thought like there is a nice way of watching both back to back where like the auditory parts of the shows like melded well.
I did enjoy the Flashdance opening sequence to Bachelor in Paradise because I love that movie. I do, honestly, though, if you don't watch it live, highly recommend watching it backwards, because I quite enjoyed the palate cleanser that is Golden Bachelor after the whatever of Bachelor in Paradise. Because it's nice to like watch children being crazy and then watch adults have actual conversations instead of the other way around.
We ready for the city shout out?
Please.
Can't wait.
La Vista, Nebraska, in Sarpy County, Nebraska, population 16,746. Thank you for listening.
Wow.
I didn't see any famous people, and I didn't see much about it other than you are in Nebraska, and the land there is very cheap. So
Where is it in Nebraska? Is it closer to Colorado or Iowa?
Oh no, it's on the east side. I think it's kind of part of like over by Omaha.
Okay.
Yeah. So thank you. Any words of wisdom? They have a Portal Elementary, a Parkview Heights, La Vista West, and G. Stanley Elementary. So
I wonder who G. Stanley is.
I don't know. I don't know. Why don't you guys
full of information?
Tell people bye, and I'll look him up. American psychologist and educator.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put a plug out. On Friday, I got my annual flu shot and my third, I think, COVID booster. And if you are suffering from insomnia, I highly recommend you get both in the same arm, because I slept 9 hours Friday night. So that was awesome. And I haven't had any other ill effects from it. So get your flu shot.
Woohoo. Just be confident, people. Be confident, but like a 70-year-old.
I like it. All right. Thanks everybody for listening. Bye.
Bye. You have been listening to Bachelor
with your hosts, Danielle Dick McGee,
Kim Hanna,
and Bill Henning.
All thoughts and opinions expressed on the show are solely those of the person who spoke them.
If you enjoyed the show, please subscribe to the show, leaving a 5-star rating and review wherever you listen to your podcasts.
Also, please share with your family, friends, colleagues, and other ardent Bachelor fans.
If you have comments or questions you would like us to address on the show, you can email us at bachademia@gmail.com.
Or on the Twitter with the handle @bachademia.
Thanks for listening.